Welcome back, guys. We're doing another video. Today we are talking about why you need to kind of go take that chance, take that leap, take that next step, take that risk towards what you want to accomplish. So when it comes to visualizing what it is you want to do, you've got to identify the target and then steps to get there. And some of these steps, they may be risky to the position you're in. So moving away, trying to start that new side hustle or business and investing all of your funds in it from that you've had saved up from that 9 to 5. And yes, that's going to seem very scary at first because you're going to be like, oh God, this is my savings money. I've been saving up for a year now and I've only got enough to last me a couple months. If I go all in on this, if it doesn't work, what am I going to do? And you've got to realise the worst thing that can happen is you stop, you go back to your 9 to 5 for however long, you save up again, and then you start it again, you try again. And it could just be a matter of repeating it over and over again until it works, trying different things over and over again after saving up until it works. Or it could work first time round. But you've got to realise that the worst thing that can ever happen is you fail, is it doesn't work out, and you lose the money, but what happens is, you may have lost the money in the experience, in the process, but you've gained so much more in the area of experience and knowledge on that subject, on that topic, or whatever it was you invested in. And you can look back at it as if, okay, so I spent this much money and I didn't make any in return, or I spent this much and I only got this much. If I kept going, I could eventually increase it to making a profit, but I didn't have time to do that. So you can look at it, what you did wrong, and how you can improve on it. And I like to view it as you never lose, you just learn. You learn a new way to not do something, or you learn a way that doesn't work. So by doing something and then it failing, you're like, okay, that doesn't work. I could either try it again differently to achieve the same outcome, or I can just not do anything related to that and go on to a different subject. And you're going to have setbacks. You're going to have punches and you're going to take hits when you're trying out something new. And you've got to stick with that one thing, because if you keep transferring through different areas, trying to say, oh, this doesn't work, I'll go to this bit, you've got to try something multiple times for it to work out. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to try this, oh, first attempt didn't work, go to the next one. Because when you first start out, you're going to take hits, you're going to take those failures and those losses, but you've got to react to them the right way. You've got to understand that the only thing that's controlling the progress is how you react to what goes wrong and what goes right. So you could make a successful deal and then have £1,000 a month coming in, but then you could just say, oh, I'm happy with this, I'll just keep doing it like this now, and then you've only got £1,000 a month coming in. Or you could not make any money for your first few months and then get a deal of 5,000 and then get another deal of 5,000. You've got 10 a month coming in now. So you've got to. So what's better, to make that first deal as soon as you start off and then become happy and stagnant and satisfied, or is it better to fail a few times and then kind of develop the motivation and the drive to want to keep going, to make more than just what's necessary? So you could go from nothing for a few months to then having 5k, 10k, 15, 20k, 100k a month from just sticking it out a bit longer. And it could take longer for you to start off, but when you start off, because you've waited that time, you've used that discipline, and you've utilised the failures and losses, and you've learned from everything, you can then start to increase what you're earning, because you're like, okay, I know I've done this and this didn't work, so now if I do it this way, it's going to work. You learn from what you fail at. And lots of people, they think, oh, I've lost, I've failed, so that's it, it's over, my chance is over, I'm not going to get another shot at this, and I'm just going to go and cry and be really upset about it. I'd say if you fail at something and it's really that important, give yourself a day tops to sulk about it and to be in your own thoughts, like, oh no, and then afterwards, back on it, be like, okay, that failed, what am I going to do now that's going to help me get back on this and get back on the train, go to the next stop, take that next step. This bit hasn't worked, but what have I learned from this that can help me grow something else, or grow this again a different way? What's going to help me progress that I've learned? And you've got to use your failures as a chance to learn, because they're going to help you so much more than not even doing anything. So imagine you are constantly thinking about doing things, you're doing all the reading, but you never actually implemented it, so you don't know if any of it actually works or not for you. You're not going to get anywhere, even though you've done all of that reading, unless you take action. And you compare that to the person that takes all the action but hasn't done any reading or learning or sales courses. That person's going to be doing a lot better than you are, because they've been taking action, they've been learning from their failures, trial and error, constantly improving one way or another. So what it is with just using the worst thing that can happen is, no matter what happens, there's always a point you're going to come back to if everything goes wrong. And that point isn't the end of the world. So what? Okay, you go back to stage one, which was a 9 to 5 and living in a shitty apartment. Okay, but then you can save up again for another year and you can go at it again. That's the worst case scenario, but you've learned what doesn't work, you've been around the right people. So let's say, my plan is to move out to Thailand, spend a few months out there at least, maybe even a year, with mates, and just start making as much money as possible. So if that doesn't work, if I don't end up making any money, okay, I'll come back by the end of the year from September, come back by the end of the year, and okay, it didn't work, I'm going to spend the next year saving up again. What hurt there? I spent time with good friends, I learnt a lot, and I know what the next step is. And I've learnt some sort of discipline, saying, okay, well, obviously this didn't work and I've been pushed back here. This is a step back. This isn't where I want to be, but I still want to achieve that goal. So I'm still gonna keep going at it. So you've got to keep going at it no matter what happens, and you've got to realise the worst that can happen isn't normally that bad. Like, what position are you in now? Are you really that uncomfortable? Are you still living with your parents? Are you just getting food from them? Are you happy? Are you in a comfortable position? That's okay to come back to, but it's not where you want to be. So it's okay to go. It's really good to go and try things, figure out what works, what doesn't, and then if necessary, you can always come back and say, I need another few months to sort everything out again. And you can talk to your parents, you sort something out, just don't burn those bridges, and then you go back, you save up again, and you attack it again. You attack that goal, you attack that process, and then it works. You do that enough times and it will work. And then you're there, you're successful, and then it's paid off. Then you can say to your parents, thank you for supporting me, or the people that supported you. You can say, thank you for helping me, thank you for being there for me. Now I can pay you back because you helped me. Now I can support you as you supported me when I was in need. And you're never going to be put back to stage one. You're never going to be in a worse position, because you always would have learned something if you try something new. You always would have experienced something different. You've always gone through something that you haven't before, or something else that's going to help you in one way or another. Doesn't matter what way, but it will help you. And no matter what happens, even if you have not succeeded in that business, you've learned what didn't work. You've always learned something, and that is the most important thing, because you're never going to lose that memory, that idea of what worked and what didn't. You're always going to have that. So when it next comes to a situation where making that choice is an option again, you can say, I've been here before, I made this decision and it didn't work. So now we're going to make this decision, or I'm going to do this again but do it differently. So you know what is the best option for you. And it may have just been it was the wrong place and the wrong time for that decision. It may have just been you weren't ready for that decision, but it was the right one to make. And then further down the line, you've made your money, and now you're ready to start that again because you're in the right position financially, emotionally, you've got the right people around you. So you've got to utilise your losses and your failures as an opportunity for learning and growth, so that you can then come back to that situation in the future and you have the knowledge to make the right decision. So even if you do fail, you can always come back to it because you have the knowledge, and you've just got to keep going at it. You've got to keep trying, keep taking action, and keep progressing toward that goal. It may take a few months, it may take a few years, but if you keep attacking it, if you keep going towards that goal, there's no way you're not going to succeed, because eventually you're going to have learned so much in that area that it's going to be the stage of, okay, so I know how to get a job, I know how to get paid, I know what the best offer is, blah, 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 blah. You've learned all these different stages, and now you're on the next level, and it's just, okay, so I've learned how to implement all of this, and you're at that top rung of the ladder, and it's, even if you fail, you only go down one rung, and then you can just do all of that again, and then you're back up, and you're like, okay, so I'm still making money here, so now it's just, is it a next step for me to make more money, or what else am I developing? And no matter how much you fail, as long as you keep going at it, it's going to work out. It will just take time. And lots of people are so quick to give up because they don't expect things to be that difficult. They expect it to be easy and just kind of to happen after a few days of work. But no, you've got to consistently and constantly work your arse off every day so that you can then achieve that end goal. And it will take a while, it will take time, and it's not just going to be something that you can give up on and so you can do it for a month or so and then think, oh, it's not working. It will take time. You've got to do it for a month and then analyse why you're not making any progress, and then you've got to do it again. But even you've got to analyse and then readjust it. But even then, it could be you're doing everything right, but it just hasn't clicked yet. It's just you haven't been doing it for long enough. So you could be like, I've done everything right for a whole month and I still haven't got a job, or I still haven't got that sales position. I don't know what I'm meant to be doing. Just keep going, and it could be the next day, the next week, the next month, you get everything that you've been aiming for, and it's just about pushing to that next step. So I think I've mentioned this before, but there's a picture of, it's a drawing, and it's two miners digging toward a big thing of gold and diamonds. One of them is so close, but he's given up. He's that far away from hitting these diamonds, and the other one is just a little bit further away, but he's absolutely going for mining through all this dirt and stone. So it's all about just keep going, because you never know how close you're going to be to success. And if you're using all your failures as learning experiences, then basically all that's doing is giving you another pickaxe. It's sharpening that pickaxe. It's turning your pickaxe into a digger. Whatever it's doing, it's just helping you along that way, because when it comes to you with that pickaxe hitting something that you've hit before, you're like, oh, I know how to deal with this. There's water coming into the cave that you're mining. I've dealt with this before. What we do, back up, leave it. But you know what to do because you've been in that situation before. You know the right answer because you've already done the wrong, and you know what the best choice is for you. So use your failures as learning experience, so you can then go on to use the knowledge again in the future, and then you will succeed. And just constantly try and keep trying, because eventually it's going to work. It will just take a fair amount of time, and nothing happens immediately. You've got to put in some sort of work, because you could put in all of your effort and then nothing happens. But if you did one more day, it all clicks, everything happens. You start making that money, your YouTube video pops off, it all goes well. So you've just got to keep going, keep trying, keep progressing every day.